How are you?
So far, so good, man. Such a nice pleasure, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It took a while, I'm sorry. I had to relocate, move to a new house, settle down a little bit, but now I'm ready.
Good,
So
good,
all
good,
fine.
good. You look good, man.
Yeah, I'm now breathing mountain air, so I can go out more often, out of the old apartment. The ceiling was very low. Now I have beautiful mountains, was even snowing yesterday.
Ah, nice.
So I'm Swiss, so I'm used to snow. So for me, it's fine.
Nice,
Some people, when they hear snow, they are scared, but I'm truly fine. Cannot complain.
nice, nice. So, hi to everyone who is joining today. Uh, for me, it's a pleasure, man. I was talking to one of my friends recently, and he said, "Hey, man, you want to have Andre?" And I said, "Yeah." I mean, I'm nervous to be honest.
You know, no. There is absolutely no reason to be nervous. We are just within our beautiful coffee family, and
It is nice.
we are all human. I know some people believe maybe I'm not human because I work in a very disciplined way, and
It's just
sometimes,
the way you work is so interesting, and uh, everything that you have done so far. I mean, it's very amazing. I know that you did a lot of stuff. You know what? Let's start getting into it. I have prepared some questions, but I want to keep this
yeah,
one as relaxed as possible. So uh, there is a lot of our viewers that know who you are, knows what you have done in the
yeah,
coffee
that's
industry.
scary.
But there is a lot of people also that they don't know who you are. So I would like to set kind of a a base, and I would like to know what were you doing before start all this coffee career? Just before, way before.
Way before, so long time ago, I studied economics and political science. So I have a master in these two subjects. And then I also studied fashion photography and graphic design. So
Okay.
that is something totally different from coffee. And before I got addicted to coffee, and I spent hours and days and years in coffee in the laboratory or in the academy, I used to be a trail runner. So I run in the mountains. Trail running,
Chill.
I run ultra trails. An ultra trail is everything longer than a marathon. So I run 24-hour races. So I finished like 140 kilometers. I went to Japan. I ran the Ultra Trail Mount Fuji. That was more than 83 kilometers. I run some other races that are more than 100 kilometers, and where normally you maybe go up like 8,500 meters and come down again the 8,500 meters. So this is my background.
That's very interesting. That's why you're so competitive. Now it makes sense.
Now it starts making sense. And I used to be a tennis teacher for 10 years. So I did a lot of sports. And then you grow older. So you need to replace the fancy sport by something more relaxed. So I started behind the coffee machine where you can just hang around and don't need to run anymore.
Kind of, you don't need to run, but you did a lot of running also with coffee. So
That is true.
um, uh, I know a little bit about how the coffee scene is in Switzerland, but from your perspective, what can you tell us about how the coffee scene is in Switzerland?
The coffee scene in Switzerland is actually very close to the Italian one. We have the commercial coffee is very much Italian espresso based.
Hmm.
On the other hand, we have a lot of fully automatic coffee machine. If you go now to restaurants and you will check, you will find maybe in 80 to 85% of the cafes and coffee shops and restaurants, you will find a fully automatic coffee machine. And the traditional Italian espresso machine is not so common. And this is also why in Switzerland we don't have really a lot of very skilled baristas.
Hmm.
And the specialty coffee scene is very, very, very small. And maybe when you look from the outside, you might think that Switzerland is a giant because we have some super trooper baristas and world champion. For example, in cup tasting, Gloria Pedrosa, she won 2006 the World Cup Tasting Championship. Then we have with Emi Fukahori, World Brewers Cup champion. Then there is Mathieu, everybody knows, so an amazing and very successful barista. So we have just a few, but very, very, very good baristas. And then the coffee shops, if you ask me how many specialty coffee shops we have, maybe 10.
Really?
And not more. So it's a small scene. Some of them are extremely competitive and also very successful. I'm not sure whether I should say it's growing or not, because before I started being in specialty coffee, I didn't know anything about specialty coffee. Now I entered it a couple of years ago. So from that point when I entered, I felt like it's moving, it's getting bigger, but that might also be just like because I got more involved into it. But I think it's very small, it's very niche. We are doing great things, maybe because also people have enough money to pay a little bit more for specialty coffee in Switzerland, but there is still much room for improvement and make it bigger.
So, but you see do you see probably the customers bored of the normal, commercial coffee? I mean, do you see, can you hear people asking, I'm getting bored of this coffee. Would like better coffee? Is
You
something
know,
like
in Switzerland, what's very unique, that's the homeland of Nespresso. And when you look at the households, in every second household, you have an espresso machine. So Swiss people are very used to capsule coffee.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, when you look at capsule coffee and when you look at the recipes that the manufacturers will suggest you to do, you will make a brew ratio, or you will use between 5 to 6 grams of coffee to make one espresso of 40 ml,
Mm-hmm.
or like a lungo of 110 ml.
Mm-hmm.
So when you measure the TDS, you will get something much closer to filter coffee than a real espresso. So if you ask Swiss people, do you like filter coffee? They will all look at you and they said, you're totally mad. And then you tell them, yeah, but you have an espresso machine at home, which is actually closer to a filter coffee machine than to an espresso machine. Okay, then they go mad and think you are crazy. But this is actually the case. So I think we have a long way to go in Switzerland to make specialty coffee more accessible. People are used to dark roast. Many of the blends you get are also full of Robusta. And when you look at all the analytics, at the charts, people say, yes, but Swiss people drink a lot of coffee. It's true. We drink a lot of coffee, but we don't drink a lot of quality coffee.
Got it. Understand.
So we have plenty of room for improvement.
Good. It's good to hear. So there is actually more that we can do in the specialty coffee industry, and that's actually great to hear. Now, I know that you started as a junior coffee trader.
Yes.
So, but I'm very curious because what exactly the vice presidents of Volcafe told you in that interview of two of you that actually you were like, yes, I want to do this. What he said to you that makes you fall in love with coffee?
Okay, he's retired, so I'm not damaging his career anymore. It's more his personality or the stories he told me about origin. I mean, when he came into the meeting, or when we started the meeting, the guy came, the shirt, the first buttons were open, the tie somewhere around, the shirt somewhere out, and I was like, oh, you go to job interview and you expect everybody like to be perfectly dressed.
Yeah.
And then he looked at me and said, so you're a tennis teacher. If I hire you, can I get free tennis lessons from you? It's kind of very personal, And then he started to talk to me about Africa, about how they buy coffee in Papua New Guinea and in Indonesia. So we started straight away, well, from tennis, then to Coffee Origin. And they told me scary stories, interesting stories, adventurous stories. And I grew up in Switzerland, so it's a perfect, safe country. Everything is on time. And I got attracted by this adventurous Coffee Origin stories. So that's what immediately attracted me.
What was the most difficult? I mean, I was I don't know exactly what a junior coffee trader does. I was doing kind of a small research on it, and it seems it's very tough, very complicated. For how long were you been doing that?
So in total, I stayed with Volcafe for 2 years.
Okay.
Half of it in Winterthur. So that was the head office. And there you do mainly cupping. So you work a lot in the lab, although it sounds to be like a trader. So it's very hands-on, it's very pragmatic. You will have regular cuppings. You need to be good at sensory. And on the other hand, you do really all the trading also involved at the stock exchange. So you know that in New York, you do the Arabica, and in London at Life, you do the Robusta.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you do on the physical side, you do also as a hedging on the trading side. So coffee, when we look at it from a specialty coffee perspective, we think there is a farmer and then there is a buyer, and we connect. But there is a whole financial world in the background, and most of these people, or many of these people, they are not even interested in really buying the coffee.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the trading at the stock exchange. It's about speculation. It's about investment. It's a very big business that most people don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like fixing the price that we see at New York City. So I don't say it's the right thing, but that is the thing where people make the money. So if you think that as a coffee trader, you only trade the green beans and that's where you make the money, the big trading houses, they might sometimes even lose money on the green buying and the green selling, but they make it back at the stock exchange.
It is very complicated and it's very fascinating, all that world.
Yes.
I was just looking like really superficially just what junior coffee trading is, and it's a lot of stuff. And a
I
lot
mean,
of people, they may think that just trade coffee is just easy, just put numbers, but
no. I had to learn also and to do day trading. So at the stock exchange every morning. So I had to analyze the market, and then I had to go to the chief trader and tell him now I'm going to do this activity at the stock exchange, because how I analyzed the market, that's what I'm going to expect. And I think for the first 1 to 2 months, I was just losing money every day. And
okay.
one day I just had like the gut feeling, and I felt like, okay, it seems like in Brazil, the weather is very cold. Because you check that, you check the weather, you check a lot of things like also the exchange rates. It's not only about the green beans. And I had the feeling that there will be like frost in Brazil. So I went to the chef trader. I showed him what I think, and that the market must go up like mad. So I called already the stock exchange before it even opened, and I said, once the market is going to open, I will try to buy at this price. I went out to the toilet. I came back 10 minutes later, and within this 10 minutes, I won back all the money that I lost for 1 to 2 months.
Jesus.
So day trading, some people, they love it. I yes, I can see someone put a
A
lot
lot
of
of
dollar signs. So the stock exchange, that's where you make money, and it's
yeah.
not at all the romantic side of coffee trading.
Mm-hmm.